Hello my friends, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be making a slip dress and I am really excited about this one. It is the Saltwater Slip Dress and I'll be honest, I made it already and I didn't love the fit, but I think I have a couple ideas on how to make it better. And I have this amazing linen silk blend fabric that is just so beautiful, and so I think this is going to turn out really nicely with some of my fit modifications. I'm gonna shorten it a bit, make it extra flirty, and then yeah, I just have a few ideas on how to make this all come together. So I'm going to take you along with me on the process. I might also dye the fabric because it's white and I would potentially like to wear this to a wedding that I'm going to, but I cannot because it's white. So I'm gonna see how it turns out. If I like it as it is, I'll leave it, and if I don't, I will dye it and I will show you that process. But yeah, let's just get into it because honestly, if I am gonna wear it to the wedding, it's in like a week, so we gotta act fast. Let's do it. So this is the fabric. Oh yeah, it's picking up. It's just beautiful. It's really, really stunning fabric. I'm wondering if it's too sheer that I'll have to line it, but I'm kind of hoping that I won't. Anyways, this is it. It's so pretty, but I do not have a lot of it, as you can maybe see. Anyways, I've got my pattern pieces, gonna lay them out and start going. I ended up deciding to self-line the dress, meaning that I was using the exact same fabric for the lining as I am for the rest of the dress. And because of that, I needed to be really careful because I did not have any fabric to spare when making this dress. It's like a 42-inch wide fabric, and yeah, I was really, really limited in how much I had to work with. So what I ended up deciding to do was to make the lining a few inches shorter than the rest of the dress. This is for two reasons. One, to save on some fabric, but also to create a little bit of dimension. So because the fabric is quite sheer, you would see a little bit of skin, a little bit of like sheerness in the part that wasn't lined. You'll see this when I'm done, but it turned out really well and I really liked how this looked. Patterns will almost always give you cutting layouts, but if you're dealing with a very small amount of fabric and you're trying to be scrappy and make it work, then I recommend playing around and seeing how everything will fit on your fabric, just like I'm doing here. I ended up having just the perfect amount of fabric for the bias binding, the straps, and the lining, as well as the dress itself. So I think I did a pretty good job. That said, this video is on 3x speed, so you can see I'm really taking my time here. Enjoy a few more seconds of me cutting out this fabric, and then we're gonna move on. I'm back. I have my avocado toast, which means that I am going to be dyeing the fabric. I asked everyone on Instagram what they thought, if I should dye the fabric first and then make the dress, or make the dress and then dye it. My initial thought was I would wait to dye it because then I could see if I wanted to keep it white, but the more that I think about it, the more I just don't want it to be white. So I'm gonna avocado dye it, and I just finally, as of this avocado toast, have enough avocados. So we're gonna, today, you and me, we're gonna dye the fabric. And I'm really excited about it because I think it's gonna be great, and I feel like I'm doing it well. Like I feel like I have the tools to do it well. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna dye it. It also, like, everyone said that it doesn't really matter if you could do it either way, and there's benefits to both. I've already cut up my pattern pieces, so it will be a bit more manageable in the dye bath. But yeah, that's kind of the plan for today. I don't think I'll be able to do any sewing of it today. No, there's no way. But I could probably get to that tomorrow, which will be very cool. So I'm just gonna dye the fabric, hang it up to dry, and then tomorrow we're gonna do some sewing, and I'm hopefully gonna put the dress together. But I'm really excited for this project. So I'm gonna eat my toast, and then I'm going to dye the fabric, and we're gonna do that together. So I'm just gonna start eating this. Okay, so I've got my fabric in a bowl with some detergent. I'm using soak detergent in the fig scent. It smells so good, but mostly it's a non-rinse detergent that is nice and gentle, is great for silk fabric like this, and then I don't have to rinse it, and I can just put it directly from this bath into my pot, which is boiling. So now I'm going to lower the temperature. We're gonna do that quickly. Is it boiling? No, it's about to boil. So anyways, I'm going to lower the temperature of my pot once it gets to like a gentle boil and let that sort of do its thing for an hour-ish, check the color, and then when that's all ready, I'm gonna put my fabric into there and dye it. That's the plan. So I'm gonna go do that now. So it is starting to pick up color, which is great news. Now I'm gonna lower the temperature. This is looking really good. I think I was debating on washing it out, but I might leave it a little bit longer so it gets darker. But it's not really picking up on camera, but it looks quite pigmented in real life. So I'll maybe leave it until this evening and then I'll wash it. Hello everyone, it is one day later and I have the results from my dyeing experiment. It went really well. It went better than I was even anticipating it going. So this was the before, pretty standard white fabric, and then this is the after. I will do a little close-up so that you can see it better, but it just turned out so well. I love how like the silk adds like a bit of a shimmer because it's a silk linen blend, and the pink just turned out perfectly pink, not too brown. And the way that I did this was essentially I used 3 freshish from like the past week avocado pits and seeds, washed them out really well, so like scrubbed the insides with steel wool, all of that, just to make sure they were really clean. And then I had maybe 5 pits that I had dried and had been saving. I wasn't initially gonna put them in, but I did put them in because I read that the pits can help them become more pink. I don't know. Anyways, those were dried from like quite a while ago. I put those in as well. I let the whole thing simmer for just over an hour. And while that was simmering, I had my fabric pieces all together in a bowl filled with a light detergent. So it was just soaking in there for maybe about an hour, about as long as the whole, mixture was cooking up. And then I just rinsed out the fabric, put it into the dye bath, took it off the heat, and let it sit for 2.5 hours, 3 hours, occasionally mixing things up, opening up the fabric, swishing things around just to make sure it got coated nice and evenly. And then I would put a big sort of pot over top. So I had it in a bowl and I put a pot over top to keep everything submerged. And it turned out amazing. And I'm really happy with it. I've dyed before with avocados, but this is by far the time where I put in the most attention to detail, and then also just it came out the best. So I'm obsessed with this color. It is really quite even as well. And what I had done was I had already cut out my pieces when I put them in the dye bath. So it wasn't ideal. I think maybe they shrunk a teeny bit. It would have been better if I had dyed the fabric all together, but I think then it just would have been too bulky and would have come out a little bit more uneven. So I'm really happy with everything. And now we're gonna get to sewing. I have this thread, which doesn't really look like it would match, but it's like a good enough match. yeah, it's like a good enough match, and it's kind of got like a light shimmeriness to it that picks up really well in like the lighter shimmery tones in the fabric. And yeah, we're just gonna start the process today of sewing. Maybe we'll finish it, maybe we won't. So we're just gonna get started. Let's get into it. First, I have to thread my bobbin with this baby. This is a note to myself to pick up bobbins next time at the fabric store, because I just keep doing shit like this. And this is just not working for me. There's also black in there too. There's 3 colors on this bobbin. So there's about to be 2 colors on this one. So I need to pick up more clear bobbins, but I keep forgetting because every time I go to the fabric store, I'm really only thinking about the fabric. So for this, what I ended up doing was making I'm using a self lining. So I'm using the same fabric for the lining as I am for the dress. And that's just because it's a little bit too sheer. I keep going back and forth on this, but I think the lining is gonna be a good call. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sew the darts and then sew the front and back piece together. Sorry, I'm gonna sew the darts and then I'm going to sew the lining piece together with this, and then I'm gonna do the same for the back. And then I'm just gonna start to slowly assemble everything and then make the bias binding for the straps. So that's gonna be how we do things currently. I think it will turn out hopefully okay. So on we go. So I'm just stay stitching all of my pieces. So essentially just going around the neckline and the armholes, not anywhere else really. And what that will do is just stop it from stretching out, because this is a really like delicate fabric, and because it sort of is like on the bias over here, and we're gonna be sewing a lot around this area, it's just better to make sure that you keep things nice and stable. So I'm doing all of the pieces, the front, the back, and the 2 linings. More and more, I'm just so impressed with the color. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm realizing, I hope it doesn't turn out like too naked looking on me. Like the Carrie Bradshaw naked dress. Because it was a sexy dress, but it's not wedding attire appropriate. Now it's time to press everything. So now what I'm gonna do is I have all my lining pieces assembled. I'm gonna start to put everything together, but first I'm gonna finish all the seams. They're gonna be facing each other, like there's not gonna really be a lot of exposed seams, but I just wanna finish them anyways because this is a pretty ravelly fabric and I really want this dress to hold up. So I'm going to finish the seams, especially on the lining on the inside. So I'm gonna do that here. And I've developed a little special trick that's not really that special and it's not new, but I have this cover stitch foot that I really, really like. And I'm going to be using this with my zigzag stitch, and it's gonna create a really nice finishing on the seams. I'll show you what it looks like. I also have a cover stitch on this machine, but it just takes a long time. It's slow. And the effect is quite similar with the zigzag stitch. So I'm gonna do that. good that looks. Can you see it? It looks so good. I don't know if I explained this properly, but basically with this dress, there's two back panels that to add some like nice shaping, there's these two back panels that are seamed together in the middle. And so what I'm doing is I'm just finishing the seam, and then I'm going to sandwich the wrong sides together so that you can't see them. And it'll look really nice when it's all done. Hopefully, that's the plan. But yeah, I'll finish the seams, and then I will also press everything nice and cleanly so it sits well. And yeah, this is starting to like really look beautiful, and I'm so impressed with the thread match. It's a little bit lighter, but it's actually working really well. So while I was pressing everything, I had the idea that I should also finish and press the lining hem, or at least like press and do a little rolled hem for the lining, because I don't want it to be, it'll just be easier if I do it now. So I think that's what we're gonna do. And now I'm like, maybe I'll do a rolled hem. Yeah, I think I should do a little rolled hem and see how that looks. And then press everything really nicely, and then start to assemble the lining with the pieces. So that's the next step. So it's Friday, and hopefully this is the last day of me working on this dress. Yesterday I made this bias tape, and so I'm going to be finishing off the neckline and making the straps out of this. So that will be done today. I also am going to be hemming the lining and also hemming the bottom of the dress. But I'm gonna wait until the very end to hem the bottom of the dress, because we'll see what kind of length I like for it. And then, yeah, attaching everything, and that's kind of gonna be the plan. So let's just get into it. I really would like to finish this ASAP. Not ASAP, I would really like to finish this today. So I can get this video up too. But, oh man, this color just turned out so good. I'm so pleased with it. But yeah, let's get going. I wanna get this dress on the move. All right, it is the end of the day. I'm ready to finish this dress. I did almost finish it. I was attaching the bias binding. It was looking amazing. And then I realized that I had this friggin' empty bobbin. It doesn't look empty, but it's empty of the color that I needed. And so I needed to go take a nap to recover. And now I'm just gonna load this bobbin up and finish what I started, because this is taking me longer than I expected. Okay, let's go. It's time, let's go. Oh God, I'm tired. Okay. Okay, I did the straps. In my other version of the saltwater slip dress, I had the straps, I like sewed them in, but I think what I'm gonna do is cut the straps in half and then make them so that I can tie them. I think that will be very cute and will kind of fit with like the general vibe of the dress. Also, if you've seen me change a million times, it's not all different days. Sometimes I just change many times in the day. And that's just how it would be. All right, we're almost at the finish line, my friends. I can feel it. We're almost there. I just have to finish the side seams and then hem the bottom and then sew these babies, and we're done. So let's just do it before I change my mind. And here it is. This is the final dress. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I loved making this slowly over the past week, and I loved wearing it to my friend's wedding. It was a really nice and light fabric, especially for the heat wave that we've been having, so I felt nice and breezy, but also really put together at the same time. Still love this color so much and the side slits, and this was just the perfect dress to wear out to a special event. I hope you guys liked this video. Please let me know in the comments what you thought. This is a new kind of format for me. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Have a great one. Bye.